for to log into the system. So we discussed different methods that how the we discussed that password is the important field which can be used by a user to log into the system, and the user can apply, the intruder can use that password to log into the system, and we are required to protect that password so that an attacker or an intruder cannot get that password and can get to the system or log into the system. So we discussed different methods that how we can protect that. Either we can protect the password by using some hash value. As you know that hash value is used for maintaining the integrity of the data. For example, when we apply some hash function on the data, so it produces the hash value. So in this way, we can apply some hash function on the password, for example, or a file that contains a list of different passwords. So when we apply that hash value on that, then it will create a hash function on that it will create a hash value. And at the receiver end, for example, if we want to check that either the password has been changed or not, or is being changed by the intruder, then we can do this. We can check this with the help of the hash value. So hash value defines that if it is matching to the original value, that means the password has not been changed. Or for example, we can apply some encryption methods as well in order to protect the password from an intruder to read without the proper means. Or for example, if he gets the key, if he has the key in order to decrypt the password, otherwise he cannot read the data. So the intruder can apply different methods as we discussed. Like for example, he can apply a dictionary attack on the data. In the dictionary attack, he has a list of different passwords, and he tries these lists of different passwords to match to the password to log into the system. So when he tries to log into the system using these passwords, so it's possible that he may have a password which can match to the password which can be able to log into the system. So in order to protect the user from such type of attacks, so we require to protect the data. So we apply the integrity to the data as well as encryption to the data. And we discussed that. So these are the methods which we have already discussed, that these methods like the maintaining integrity of the data, or maintaining applying the encryption to the data that can secure the data. So in the way it also secures the passwords as well, so that the intruder cannot get that password and log into the system. So in this way, we have different methods discussed about securing the password, and how the intruder is trying to apply some password to apply to get the password. So if you have any question up to now about the user authentication, that how we can secure the password, or secure the system, or secure the logging of the system using a password authentication. Do you have any question? Have you any question? Okay, I also discuss about the password, about the assignment. If you have any question about the assignment, you can also discuss with me. Yes, any question?
सर सॉफ्टवेयर मिल ही नहीं रहा, आपकी लिंक पे जा रहे हैं तो वो खुल ही नहीं रहा है कहीं से भी सॉफ्टवेयर।
So if you write the PGP on the Chrome as well, so you can write there download PGP software, so you can get the access of that link, and then you can also download from there.
ओके सर।
Have you another question?
सर असाइनमेंट समझा तो देंगे, कब क्या असाइनमेंट में?
So as I discussed about the assignment in detail, that what you have to do, it's based on the PGP software, and that you have to download that software and install in your system. And what you have to do about the assignment, so that is that all the details are in the file I have given to you as well. So that is actually based on the encryption, that you have to apply some encryption on the data. As you know that to make the data secure, we require the encrypting the data. So how we can make the data secure? So we can do this with the help of different encryption methods. So PGP is actually the standard that is used by an application, for example, email application or some other application. So that uses the PGP standard in order to make the data secure. And the PGP standard use the methods uh, we discussed to make the data secure, like for example, hashing of the data or applying the encryption to the data. So that software can in that software you can practically do that. So how you can encrypt the data, how you can apply some hash values to the data, or how you can apply encryption to the data. So we discuss different types of data, like for example, a message, a file, or an email. For example, if you have an email, you want to send that email to other user, for example, how you can secure that email. So as that email, that maybe if you are using an application or email management system like Outlook, so it contains that email, and it contains that PGP standard, and you will apply the some encryption to that email, or you can apply some hash value or hashing to the email. And different algorithms can be used for the encryption, like you can apply semantic encryption, you can apply asymmetric encryption, or you can apply private key encryption or public key encryption, or you can apply hashing different hashing algorithms, like different algorithms we discussed, like MD4, MD5, or some other hashing algorithm you can apply on the data. So with this assignment, you have to do you have a data like an email, or you have data like a message or a file. You have to encrypt the file, or you have to encrypt the message, and then you have to take different snapshots, that what different steps you are using to apply on that data and providing the encryption. And at the receiver end, you are able to decrypt the data with the use by using the key which is received by the sender, or which is sent by the sender. So in this way, you have to apply the different methods of encryption and different methods of hashing using a PGP standard. And then you have also to find out, for example, if an anonymous email that is coming into your system, how you identify that from where that email is coming. So you have to identify the user, because it doesn't contain any detail about the user. It doesn't contain any detail about from where the email is coming. So how you can identify that particular email, that from where that particular email is coming. So you have to find out this with the help of a PGP with the help of PGP standard or PGP software. Okay. Have you another question?
एक्सक्यूज मी सर।
Yes.
सर मुझे टॉपिक में से क्वेश्चन है कि आपने बताया कि डिक्शनरी अटैक जो होता है उसको हम हैश फंक्शन से प्रिवेंट करते हैं, मतलब कोई इंट्रूडर कोई मतलब डिक्शनरी अटैक कर रहा है हमारे सिस्टम पर, मतलब पासवर्ड को हैक करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो उसको हैश फंक्शन यूज करेंगे क्या, या मतलब जो अटैक्स होते हैं टाइप्स होते हैं उनको अलग अलग फंक्शन से प्रिवेंट किया जाता है?
Actually, the attacker, whenever he tried to get the password, so because the password is very important field, uh, that very important data that the attacker tries to get it. And when he gets that password, and then he can be able to the login to the system. So one of the way, whenever we, sometimes what happens that whenever we try to log into the system, and for example, we forgot the password, we use different options to log into the system, and we try to log into the system, and in this way, if any password is matching to the system, and then we can access the system. So in this way, in the same way, the attacker may try this method as well. So he has different list of passwords, and he used these different lists of passwords, and from where he log into the system. If any of the password he contains in the list that matches to the password that is used to log into the system, then he can be able to enter into the system. So in this way, this type of you can say method that is used by the attacker, that is called as a dictionary attack. Why we say it is a dictionary attack? Because it contains a list of different passwords, and these different passwords are used by the attacker to log into the system. So these different passwords, one by one, the attacker use that password to log into the system. If any of the password is matching to the list or matching to the system, then he can use that password and log into the system.
सर लेकिन हमें इसमें जो है मतलब कोई सिस्टम हम किसी में इंटर करते हैं पासवर्ड, तो हमारे पास ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 4 और 5 अटेम्प्ट होते हैं, उसके बाद सिस्टम लॉक हो जाता है, तो कैसे अटैकर मतलब उसको हैक करते हैं फिर?
Actually, attacker intruder is knows about all these things. That, for example, if any system, if any of the system has this privileges, like for example, you have a limit of attempts that you have to log into the system, so he knows about that. So he may modify some policies for that. So he may first he try to, if any of the system is having such limitations, then first he try to you can say undo that limitation, and after doing that, so he can then he can able to log into the system. So he can apply these methods. So if any of the system has that limitation, first he try to modify the policy for that. So when he's able to modify that policy, then he apply that method to log into the system. Okay.
I have a question. Sir, how we make two-step verification or authentication of our system to secure it?
Like for example, as you know that there are the different methods are used to log into the system. Sometimes we can apply some methods like authentication, as we are using the password, for example, to log into the system. And when we try to access some data in the system, then we can also apply some password for that. Then we can use that, for example, if any of the folder or any of the file, for example, we want to access that, then we can also apply some password to that. So in this way, means we apply to log into the system, and we apply the password to the system. And then if we want to access some data in the system, or access some file in the system, then we also apply some password to the system, and we try to log into the system. So in this way uh, uh, we have verified the data, we have verified the system twice in the system. Or for example, we can apply some other methods as well. So we will also discuss some other methods of verifying the data. Like for example, we may apply some biometric method or some other method to log into the system, and then we can apply that method to log in the system. So in this way, we can authenticate through other means as well. So we have different methods. So when we try to enter into the system, we apply the authentication, and then we try to access the system, and then we also apply that verification as well. So in this way, we apply on the data level as well, and on the system level as well. So in this way, we are authenticating twice. We are verifying the system twice. Once a user wants to enter into the system, he verifies himself. He enters data to verify himself. And when he want to access some data from the system, like some file or folder, for example, or some other data, so he also need to enter the password, or he need also to authenticate the data, the password, so that he can be able to access the data. So in this way, he has verified himself when he enters into the system, and when he tries to access the data as well. So he also uses the password, or he also need to enter the password to verify or to access that particular data in the system.
सर सर
Yes.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
Assalam.
सर बहुत से स्टूडेंट सर कंफ्यूज हैं कि असाइनमेंट कौन सी है बिकॉज सर वो लास्ट क्लास में एब्सेंट थे मैं भी एब्सेंट था सर प्लीज उसके बारे में कुछ बताएं असाइनमेंट कौन सी है
मैं असाइनमेंट अभी इसी क्लास में डिस्कस कर चुका हूँ कि कौन सी असाइनमेंट है. I have discussed that which assignment is that, and I have also discussed the details of the assignment, and also giving you a file as well, that what you have to do in the assignment, that is actually based on the PGP standard, and that you have to apply the PGP standard on that, and you have to perform the encryption on the data, for example, a file, a message, or for example, an email. So that contains every detail related to the data or related to the assignment, that you have to use the PGP standard or PGP software, for example, which contains a PGP standard, and you can apply that with the email, with the message, or with the file. So you have to do with the email, with the message, or with the file, to encrypt the message or to encrypt the data when you apply that. So when it encrypts the data or encrypts the email or encrypt the message. So that standard is actually mostly used by different applications. So you have to use that standard to encrypt the email or to encrypt the message or to encrypt the file, for example. So that is about the assignment that contains a standard, that's a PGP standard. And whatever we have done so far, like for example, we are making the data secure using hash functions, or we are making the data secure using encryptions. So you can apply these methods on the data. You practically apply these methods on the data using the PGP standard. And when you apply these methods, then you can see that, so how that data is encrypted, and how you can decrypt that data. So you can have a user, for example, that that create a number of keys to encrypt the password, or to encrypt the data, or to encrypt the message, or to encrypt the file. And then you will send that key to the other user, for example. When he receives that key, then he can decrypt this message or file or any email from a key that you have sent it to him. So in this way, you can apply the encryption and decryption, and also you can apply some hash functions. Is we have discussed different algorithms about making the hashing to the data. Hashing means here you are maintaining the integrity of the data. So you can apply MD4 and MD5 functions or algorithms on the data. So using the PGP standard, you can apply these algorithms on the data so that along with encrypting the data, you can also secure the data using hash functions as well. So that is about the assignment. So it's using the PGP standard or using the PGP software. You have to encrypt the data, or you have to apply the hashing to the data.
सर इसकी डेडलाइन क्या है?
You have to submit this before the exam.
Sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so if you have any other question, you can ask.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
So, sir, the overall concept about the dictionary attack is clear, but I'm just curious, how would the attacker actually know what one of his password matches the system when he has various list of one?
So he has a list of different passwords, and he tried to